The federal government pay raise for 2024 is official, and on average, government employees will be seeing a 5.2% pay raise in January. The way that this works is that a pay raise of 4.7% will be across the board, and on top of that, there'll be an average of a 0.5% increase for locality pay. This raise is the largest in over 40 years. You would have to go all the way back to 1980 when President Carter gave a 9.1% pay raise. In fact, if you look at this past decade, there have been multiple years where we only get 1% or 0%. It was between 2011 and 2013 where the pay raises was set at 0. Most people expect that the pay raise should match, or at least try to match, the rate of inflation. And the goal for the Federal Reserve is to have an inflation rate of about 2%. So this means that each and every year we should see about a 2 or 3% increase in our pay. But that hasn't been happening. Now, if you look back at 2022, 2023, it makes sense to see a 4 or 5, even over 5% pay raise due to the high inflation we've been experiencing. Now let's see how this pay raise will impact government employees in DC and also across the country. In DC, a GS-12 Step 1 will go from making $94,000 to $99,000 a year. This represents a 5.3% pay raise if you work around the DC area. So now let's look at RUS, which is the rest of the United States. How would it impact them? Well, in more smaller towns and cities, a GS-12 Step 1 will go from $82,000 to $86,000 a year. This represents a 4.9% pay raise, which is obviously a smaller pay raise than if you were in a major metropolitan city. But who gets the highest pay raise? Well, we would have to look at San Francisco, Oakland, where if you're a GS-12 Step 1, you would go from earning $102,000 to earning $108,000 a year. That represents a 5.6% pay raise, and it's by far the largest pay raise that government employees will be experiencing. But I tell you what, if you're relying on that type of salary to survive in San Francisco, you're not going to make it very far. You're going to end up having to rent a room or end up sleeping on someone's couch because the cost of living in that city is outrageous. On top of across-the-board pay raises, thousands of federal employees will be seeing a pay increase when it comes to the locality area. This is because the government added 4 new locality areas, including a new area in California, Nevada, New York, Washington State, and Idaho. In addition to that, dozens of counties were added to already pre-existing locality areas. Okay, so now I'm going to address a few questions that always come up when we discuss pay raises. And the first one is, when does this pay raise go into effect? The answer is the first pay period of 2024. For many federal employees, this means around January 14th. Another question, does this pay raise impact WG workers? So there's a distinction between GS employees and WG employees. And the answer is no, it does not. WG employees, they usually see a pay raise sometime between June and September. They'll do a calculation and you'll hear about it around that time period. Another question is for people that were recently hired. They think for some reason because they accepted a job offer with a certain salary that the pay raise might not apply to them. That's incorrect. It doesn't matter when you accepted your job offer. If you're a federal employee, the month of January 2024, you can expect to have this pay increase in your paycheck. Also, for the folks on SSR, which is special salary rate, you will be seeing a pay increase as well because one of the parts of the formula to calculate SSR is the base salary, and your base salary is going up. As far as SSR is concerned, there's a website where you can actually go and you can review all the occupations and all the localities that are participating in SSR. It's not just the IT folk. There's some people that are in the 0301 series. There's some HR people that are actually receiving SSR. So check that out if it interests you. All the pay charts are out for GS Pay for all the localities. If you want to see exactly how much of a raise you will be receiving next month, I'm going to leave the links to all that information down below. Now, for many people, this raise, it's just not enough. You need a little bit more in order to save, to invest, to chase after your goals. I understand that. And One of the best ways that you can get a little bit more is if you start applying a little bit more to other opportunities, whether they're inside of your federal agency or outside of your federal agency. If you're in the job, especially if you've been at that job, let's say you've been there for three or more years. If you're still sitting in that office listening to the same old supervisor, you're getting tired of it, you've already built up your proficiency level, you're looking for bigger challenges and also bigger paychecks, make sure you start applying. If you are looking for a better federal government job, I did a live stream recently where I answered a lot of questions on the federal hiring process and on usajobs.gov. If you're interested in that, then I want you to watch this video next. If you would like to see more videos like this, please click like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.